What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Pest Control Entrepreneur podcast, show, whatever we're calling it. This is my buddy Trent. He owns a medical cannabis facility, right? Is that what you call it?
No, cannabis support center is the wording.
Cannabis
that we've
support
chosen.
center,
Yes.
As well as a retail glass store, correct?
Yes,
And
a
he's
glass gallery.
Glass gallery.
Yes.
Gotcha. And actually, we're in his glass studio. He makes really cool stuff. And we're going to talk about business because Trent knows quite a bit. I've actually learned quite a bit from him about business. So let's start with, let's talk about, let's not talk about your journey with business. Let's talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly with business. Just a little bit. Let's not get too in depth with it.
All of those are answered by employee. Like, right? The good is the employees.
Yeah.
The bad is the employees. And sometimes having employees gets pretty ugly. You know?
Yeah, it can be tough.
Like,
for sure.
That's the hardest thing that taxes and proper employee interaction is probably the two most difficult things for me.
That is a good point. See, that's what's funny though, because I've seen proper employee. What phrase did you say? Proper employee
Interaction.
Interaction.
Is that what I said?
I think what you mean by that is like setting good expectations and boundaries, and for everybody to understand each other's roles. Right? Is that what you mean by those interactions? So that there's no confusion.
Right. So I love SOPs, standard operating procedures for those non-military types out there. I love continuity books. Continuity books were beautiful in the military. I was able to walk out of a fob and pass on to the guy coming on. I would just pass him my continuity book, and he'd be able to pick up the mission right from there.
Yeah.
If you can get your business running there, you're good.
Yeah.
And when we look at the big business, that's what they do. Look at their onboarding process. You know, look at McDonald's.
Yeah.
They are a meat grinder of humanity for employees. And so they've got to have all that stuff streamlined. And when you go in there, you've got 8 hours of videos and, learn all these SOPs and do this, and everything is broken down to a system.
Yeah, well-built
Ooh,
system.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
Oh, great.
That
We're
was good.
finishing each other's sentences.
This is not going to go well.
This is not good.
Yeah. Does that answer?
Yeah, I think that answer. And Paul, if you want to chime in here too, because you always have good questions too. So feel free.
How do you know when to fire someone and when it might just be time to do retraining? Like, what's the line there between, this is a retraining situation versus time to let this person go?
I'd be curious to see what you say, and then
So-
I'll answer what I would say.
So I have a whole lot of if-then statements in my head at all times, and I have a whole lot of rule sets. And one of those is I live my life by mantras, and one of those is pay your employees more than they're worth. When you pay your employees more than they're worth, you get to get rid of the bad ones. They're going to work extra hard because they know they can't go anywhere else and get the benefits, the environment, the money, whatever it is that makes your company shine, right? That makes them want to work there in the first place. If you pay them in whatever that is too much, more than they're worth, then they don't want to leave. And so a lot of that works itself out because you give them this ownership in the company, and it's. I try to avoid that at all costs, basically, right? Like I try to put everything in there so we don't ever get to that point.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I think because I would 100% agree with you. I think it has to do with culture. But I think what you're also talking about too is a lot of that stuff can be filtered out even before they become even a part of your team through the hiring and recruiting process. Because you can filter out people based off of the culture you're trying to build.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you're not always gonna get a winner though.
Yeah, trial basis. What did you text me this morning? You had a no
Yeah,
show.
I was telling Paul about
A
this too.
no call, no show.
No
like
call,
didn't come
no
over his
show.
first day of work.
Yeah. He was really good on the resume, on the interview. Like things were great. My team was excited.
And so have you calculated the cost of what a no-show, no-call does to you for a brand new hire that's never even stepped foot? How much money? Because he just thinks whatever, it's not a big deal.
I'm so
I'll
glad
get a different
you're bringing
job.
this up because I was trying to talk to Paul about this. Is people don't talk about this part of business. It's like you got these people that they want jobs, and when you're throwing this stuff out there and they act like they're going to come sign up, they didn't see how much we just turned down all the other applicants.
Yeah.
Because we're like, oh, he's interested, right? The time, the effort, everything.
Yeah, you've got a week almost probably of man hours into a person by the time they're hired.
Yeah, so it's a huge
Not
expense.
even like trained, just like brought on. Okay, here you go. You've already got, because then you got to start the process all over again.
Not to mention the headspace.
Yeah.
And the headspace, yeah.
You just got it done, and now you got to do it all. I hate redoing work.
Oh my gosh.
I hate redoing work.
So that's what my team is currently going through right now.
Right.
Is doing all that. And that's frustrating. That is super frustrating as a business owner. But I think if you have the systems in place, though, hopefully your team will take care of it for you, which is so hard to get there. And that's why it's like, I think service-based businesses, that's why I always preach that to my people, is like, I love service-based businesses because I think they're a lot easier to streamline,
right?
To have those systems.
Do you have a rule in place about hiring friends?
I do now.
Do you? We do too.
Yeah, I do, and they're just personal preferences. Because I've hired people from church, I've hired people, I've hired friends, I've hired family, and when those boundaries and expectations aren't laid out, it gets very confusing. And then when you're in a family setting, let's say you hire a brother or brother-in-law or something, Jimmy. Sorry, I love you, Betty.
Does Jimmy watch this?
No. But like say which I did hire him, but like say there was bad feelings and then we're going to family and I'm his boss and then but then I'm his it's just it gets confusing and it's hard to navigate that.
I think it's more confusing for the employee than it is for the boss. Because for the boss, so like that day last week that we fired one of our employees, that was one bullet point on 2 pages of notes. Right? Yeah. So that's just a normal. Reprimanding an employee is like literally your job, is it? Or correcting or critiquing. It's literally your job. And so if there's bad blood there, I would, if you're a good business owner, I would expect that to be coming from the employee.
Yeah.
Because that business owner should be like, cool, I just got an opportunity to teach. Now my company's better.
Yeah.
And shouldn't even think about it. Just be like, and if it's brought up at all, be dude, what are you talking about?
Well, that's actually a good point too. Is what you said. Like if there's cracks or weak links in your chain, that's a great. Taking vacation is a great way to find out whether or not you're doing good as a business and to create new SOPs and new standards. Because every vacation I ever took, something came up. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, great, now I have to deal with this crap. And so then we created a new SOP. But slowly over time, because my wife and I like to travel a lot, we've been able to like get better and get better. And so now things are way better, but they're still not perfect. So the real ultimate test, I've been telling Paul today, is like I'm trying to not do business for a full year to see.
Right. So that means
if I made it.
That means empowering your employees with the ability to run the business. And that means you have to have employees that are able to be empowered.
Yes.
Because some people just they need that to be led, and others don't. And when you take those steps back, I think those people kind of like make themselves known, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, like, why are you in this position and you're in this position, but you're doing this one's job? Because this one all of a sudden thinks he's on holiday because the boss isn't here.
Yep.
That's not how it works.
Right.
The boss gets to leave because if you're a boss, then you got everything invested there.
Yeah, that's hard, especially if you're running a business out of your garage.
Right.
To really set boundaries. Yeah, I'm running mine out of my garage.
Right. But hopefully not much longer.
Hopefully not much longer. Hopefully not much longer.
We're seeing growth, right?
Yeah,
Between us. Like we're seeing growth start to happen, and we haven't really done anything even. Like, think about what we've actually done. We've talked a lot. We've connected some dots for each other.
And this.
Yeah, we thought a lot. We've talked a lot. We've connected some dots for each other, and all of a sudden we're going, I think we can make money off each other without really doing anything. And we're both just like, dude, this is beautiful. And things seem to be literally falling in place.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing. Paul, any other questions? I don't even know where to take this thing.
What's your vision? How do you formulate it? And
Or do you have a vision? Or do you formulate it?
So I definitely think it's important to have a vision, because as a retail location, right? So I don't do service-based. It's pretty easy to stay in your lane in service-based. You are a pest control company. You are a lawn mowing service. You are a doctor's office, right? It's hard to accidentally get out of your lane with those. But with retail, you literally are just trying to get people's money.
Yeah.
It's like super dirty. Like, I'm literally trying to take your money by giving you, me personally, by giving you the highest quality products I can find at the lowest price and making everything work best. So what guides this store specifically, this retail location, is the word.
Which retail location?
So the Laughing Dragon Cannabis Support Center, 211 East Washington, Marshfield, Missouri. What guides this is the idea that we are a cannabis support center. So a lot of people want to know if we're going to bring kratom in. No, that's outside. We only are allowed to sell cannabis-related products. We don't even have a nicotine license to sell, blunt wraps and stuff.
That must be hard and frustrating though sometimes, right? Because you're like, oh, I know those products sell. People are coming in and asking for it, but I'm literally trying to stay in my lane.
Right. So do you chase the money or do you stay with your vision? If your vision is to make money, I would definitely say you should sell everything that sells the fastest and that you have the highest margins on all day long. If your vision is to make money and buy a yacht and retire, then boom. But see, this, unfortunately, is a passion project. So I don't get to act that way.
I feel like that's how a lot of entrepreneurs start up.
Their
It's like
first business
it's
is
like a little passion.
often a passion project.
Or just let's see if I can do it.
Right. Right. Well, yeah. And then if you can't do it, you're like, wait, so I bet like everything kind of works this way.
Yeah.
And then you kind of start poking around
Dabbling
and everything.
into real estate.
Yeah.
Dabbling into glass blowing.
It's like literally everything you do makes money if you're good at it.
Yeah.
And it's not like I'm making money hand over fist and I'm just like, I drive a Mercedes, but it's a 2009.
We were just talking about this earlier. We did content because it's like you can have financial freedom and live a life like a baller without all the chasing the money, the grind,
It's easy. You just find the car you want, and then you find when it changed years, and you buy the oldest year of that body style, and then it looks like it's 5 years older or 5 years newer.
There you go.
Like literally how I buy my vehicles. I won't buy the last year of a model.
Yeah, I like it.
It's dumb. It makes your car look 5 years old immediately.
Well, and that's what I think a lot of entrepreneurs aren't doing is like they're not doing making their business serve their personal vision, because that's what it's in my opinion that's what it's supposed to do. Like it's just an extension of you.
So I got to see my uncle growing up. My uncle owns a salvage yard, quite a successful salvage yard out in Colorado Springs, and he loves vehicles. It's like, so now he's a dealer. So now he's got dealer plates on his vehicles. He's always switching up vehicles. He's owned so many fun cars just because he saw them at auction and was just able to pick them up at bottom prices and fix them up with his guys that he always fixed with. Yeah, he flips them, but he drives it a little bit first. He drives that 400 horsepower GTO for a little bit. You know, he's had a BMW Z3, like a 2003. But see, those cars are like iconic, and they never really go out of style because they just hit it perfect, right? But yeah, that's been sitting there. Every time I go there, it's got a heavier layer of dust.
Yeah,
it's got like 18,000 miles on it. It's a 2003.
Wow.
So
it still looks
yeah.
clean and
but then
crisp.
he's got an airplane.
Yeah.
Company owns the airplane. He had a yacht. Company owned the yacht because.
Maybe that's what we should talk about. We could talk about a little bit about starting different businesses and even
passing the money around.
And passing the money around a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the basics.
Oh, this is not legal advice. This is not accounting advice. Please seek your lawyer, your accountant, and all that stuff. Disclaimer.
I personally put a disclaimer on Trent. Never take my advice. Like just don't. Just listen. Have a good time. Be entertained. But do your own research. Dude, that's all I'm saying. Just do your own.
Well,
research.
let's talk about that a little bit.
So let's say you've got 10 companies. And they all interact with each other. In this day and age, if you don't have them separated by industry or whatever, it gets really sloppy really fast, right? Because of all the paperwork we're required to keep as businesses.
Yeah.
So we're going to take my company. So I have manufacturing, right, of a product right here. I buy the raw glass and I create a product. Okay, so there's our manufacturing. Then we have our distribution. That is my distribution company, which buys the glass at sub-wholesale prices and then moves it at wholesale prices. Then I have a retail location. Now, currently, we're right in the midst of breaking everything up right now. There's no reason to create all these entities until you need them. Right? Until you need to show that cash flow for tax.
Right.
Basically, right? Like that's what we're doing. Until you need to show where that cash flow is going to get better tax breaks. Because
yeah, that's actually another good point. Because even in real estate, people are always like, "Oh yeah, you got to that's how you make your money in real estate." Blah 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 blah. But I look at it differently. You got to make money first and then invest it in real estate. Like it's kind of the same concept. You got to make money.
I've come to find out that owning a business should be an investment. If you don't have the money to invest $500 a month right now out of your pocket, starting a business will be difficult. If you're starting your own business to make money, that's dumb. Sorry.
It was dumb.
Me too. I didn't necessarily need it, but it's definitely become
I did.
I've definitely had to put that monthly stuff in, between $1,000 to $6,000 a month.
Yeah.
Are my contributions to get everything going with my business history. And people are going to be like, what are they talking about? Like, we are not getting into that. What were we talking about?
We were talking about the companies being able, companies be able to interact and
right. So what I can do is I can buy the material as the glass blower, right? And then and again, this is all about straw men and entities, right? And so as the human, I get to buy glass raw without having an account. It's all the same price. Let's you buy in bulk. There's no wholesale on glass. That is the final product for those people. So at the end of their production, distribution, and retail, that's me. I buy the glass. So let's say I buy a piece of glass for $30. I can create, let's say, $200 retail off of that. So right now I'm looking at a pretty good margin, right? But that's only if I sell it retail. And that's much harder to do. That takes overhead, right? Like that takes that takes employees because I'm making glass.
Right.
So now I've got to get an employee just to sell a pipe. That sucks.
Yeah.
So what glassblowers often do is we will find a sub-wholesaler, right? A lot of people will go out wholesale for themselves first and find out that your profit margins drop significantly. When you're on the torch, you can easily make $50 an hour at the wholesale rate. But as soon as you step out the door with a case of glass to go and hit all the different shops where you're trying to sell, you are cutting that in half. So all of a sudden you're making $25 an hour. And then you've got costs. So all of a sudden you're making $15 an hour.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you just got an hourly
So
job.
how do you combat that?
So we combat that by sub-wholesale. And that's where the money gets to come in. So the people with money get to take advantage of the people that need money. Welcome to America. And so this is that point and where the money comes in. So this is where people with money can get into making more money, right? Is this buying products at sub-wholesale pricing and selling them at wholesale. Because that's where all the money is. It doesn't seem like a lot because that's only a 30%. So
You have to make up in volume. It's probably
you make it up in volume. That's why the money.
Yeah.
Right. That's why the more money you have to throw at a wholesale distribution company, the more money you're going to make.
Yeah.
Because if I can buy up a manufacturer in China's annual stock in one contract, in one purchase, they're going to give me a killer deal.
Right.
So same thing here. I can go to, and I, as an artist, I hate it because it feels like I'm making people slaves. But I know people need money right now, so I could just take money and say, here, I'll buy your glass, and I'll get at least 70% of wholesale will come, will go to them, and then I'll be able to make 30 to 40% when I sell it, just for selling it.
Would you do, if you had to go back all over? Would you have started a business? Would you have done it?
No.
It's that.
No.
That's what people don't realize.
I would have built to. I'm good. I would have built to a business, right? But I would have done my 10,000 hours. See, what I didn't realize was how cheap glass is. When you own manufacturing, distribution, and retail, right? Because that's what we were talking about.
Yeah, because that's the whole line. Because you talk.
So now I get to make money as that glass artist. So I'd make, let's say I spend $10 on a piece of glass, and I make $10 as a glass blower. Well, cool. I like blowing glass. It's not a job for me. It's a joy for me.
Right.
Ooh, it's not a job. It's a joy. Patent pending or TM or whatever I need to say on that one. That was a good one.
That was a good one.
But no, it's true though. Like I have a rule. If you are not having fun on the torch, stop blowing glass. Don't turn it into one of those things I have to do, or you'll start hating it. Turn it into those things where you're like, oh, I finally get to. I've been on the torch for like 3 days.
Yeah.
I'm like, I finally get to get back on. And am I going to make production? No, I'm going to make a pendant that I never made before because I've had it in my head for 2 days.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yup, that's what I'm doing, and I'm just going all out because I got to scratch that itch.
Yeah.
But so I don't need a lot as a glass blower, right? I get enough as a glass blower to make a good living, and the rule is always keep your plug happy. Now, for the non-cannabis world or drug world, a plug is somebody that provides you goods on a regular, consistent basis, right? It plugs you into the network. And you always want to keep them happy. If you feed them scraps, they won't be happy. And they'll either stop messing with you or they'll stop doing it at all. So we want to while at the same time we want to get the best price we can as a sub-wholesaler, we also want to make sure that our glass blowers are eating steak.
Yeah.
Right? Because without them, it dies.
Right.
So we have to make sure they're happy and paid and getting
Treated
props.
treated like royalty.
Royalty.
It's just like we were talking. It literally comes back to the same thing. Like the culture for your employees should also be how you want to treat them better than what they should be getting paid.
Yes.
It's the same thing with customers.
Yeah.
Same thing with people.
What does it cost you? This is your job.
Yeah.
This is your chosen thing, is to interact with people and get their money. Mm-hmm. What else do business owners do?
I mean, that's what I have come to learn to do.
That's all I think we do.
Take money and try to make more.
And we
it's
move
a baseball
it over,
game.
Yeah, we move it over here and we
Doubles,
move it over.
triples.
Yeah.
Hopefully a home run someday.
Yeah. But mostly singles and foul balls.
Mostly strikeouts.
Yeah.
Once in a while, a nice little bunt.
Yeah.
We're like, ooh, some progress.
Yeah. Woohoo. So when you own all parts of it, you get to make money in all parts off the same dollar. Mm-hmm. So if you take that concept and then you blow it up into 10 businesses, and you have the ability to have each of them pass that dollar around to each other and make 10%. So that's why we chose 10 companies. You take $1 from the Federal Reserve out of the economy that somebody gives you. And they say, hey, I want your pest control. And you say, cool. And then, for example, a pest control. If you don't own a wholesale account for everything that you get, then you're wasting money, right? You're a chump. You're paying human prices. You're not paying business prices. This is a business podcast, right? Okay, so we could talk like that, right? Okay, so you're paying chump prices because businesses don't pay full price, right? And then if you're using a lot of those products, you're growing and growing because you save some money here and save some money there and cut some money here. Then all of a sudden you can start buying that stuff in bulk and warehousing it.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you create a completely different entity that nobody knows is you. And then all your competitors come to you because you go to your competitors and you're like, because they're not your competitors anymore. At that point, they're your customers.
Right.
And they don't even know it.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden, you can become this local guy that sells everything they need. And then everybody that does pest control, every single house that gets sprayed, you get paid off of.
Yeah. I love that.
Right?
That's great.
And then work back as far as you can. TM. Yeah, but you'll work yourself back as far as you can that way. And then go as far as you can the other way. See if you can get 10 in a row. Because if you can pull 10% profit for each company in the back end, as you pass that dollar around and you add each company's delta, or because each company has to do something with that money.
Right.
You can't just pass it around because that's illegal.
They have to
They have
to add value.
They have to add value to it, and they have to add enough value that you can skim 10% of each dollar that comes through into a savings account for that business, right?
Well, that's also a way to create money out of nowhere too.
You want to know one better?
What?
Here's a trick, guys. This is almost illegal, but since Watergate, they've legalized most of what was illegal back then. So, what if, for example, you took all of your physical assets and put them under one of those companies, and took away all of its money, and it got bankrupt?
Oh, the rich do this already.
Oh,
they bankrupt their own companies.
Yes. So
talk about this.
So every 7 years, a company can go bankrupt. So every 7 years, when you have this system set up, one of your companies should be going bankrupt, and then they sell off all your property to the other companies at rock bottom deals, and then you just pocketed lots of money outside the wage system, because that's the other thing we're trying to do, right? When we make money, that's why the same concept can be applied to retail business locations. Owning the land.
Yep.
That's the goal.
Yep.
In retail,
that's what McDonald's does.
Yes, in retail locations, owning the land is what it is, because then. So right now, I pay $500 a month to some other person, if I owned it myself, I could pay $3,000 a month to myself. Cool. So all of a sudden that means that I get $36,000 a year that's taxed differently.
Yep.
Doesn't go through FICA and Medicare and all
I've
that.
actually talked
crap.
about this on another episode
Did
of
you?
our podcast where a great way to add value to business is for the business to buy the real estate,
Yeah.
And then basically you just do, if you have office spaces, you can, what they call house hack, but it's business hacking. And you just do a triple net lease, and basically you have renters, and then your business can operate at a very small
Yep.
place out of that. And you're getting rent money coming in now to your business on top
Yep.
of, now your business owns more assets. So now it's worth
Right.
more. Now it can get more money.
Right.
It's just,
And people will tell you that you're a horrible human for gaming the tax system like that.
but that's what all the wealthy do.
Well, it's what everybody does, okay? Because everybody that's got TurboTax or whatever, they're like clicking on that and they're like, do I claim this that way? Try it. Nope, that went down. Go back. Put it the other way.
Yeah,
it
everybody's
went
trying
up.
to get-
All right, cool.
It's
So like
so true.
everybody's trying to game that system.
Yeah.
It's just that I'm trying to stop paying money, and other people are trying to get more of the paid in money. I don't think either is right or wrong. I say go for it. I say play the game and win it. Right? Like if you can find a way to play that game and make it work for you. Like for example, Trent owns nothing in this building. Nothing. Now, I bought it all, but it's all been transferred to the company. Right? So all the assets, I retain all the debt. Yay. But all the assets are here.
Perks of being a startup.
Yay. But all the assets are here, including my oxygen machine, which is an insane delta that allows me to just basically blow glass for free.
Yeah.
And my torch and my kiln, So, but I don't own any of it personally. But I get to use all of it. I come in every day, and if you ask anybody whose torch size it is, they'll tell you it's Trent's. But on paper, it's definitely the shop's.
Yeah.
That's when the shop moves. That's part of the shop inventory. Somebody buys into it, that's their torch now.
Yeah.
But that's how I like to do it.
Yeah, because you still get the benefits of using it and enjoying it. But
Right.
now you've just built a company that's making money and
Right.
more assets and
Right.
more money.
Well,
can
and
come from
everything I
banks.
can pay for before I get paid, the better. Remember I said that owning a business is kind of like a investment?
Yeah.
Okay.
And 100% is.
My goal
Well, it should.
is to have all of my needs met and get $0 coming to me. In fact, if I have money coming to me, because of my financial circumstances, I am forced to divert it somewhere else and do something else with it.
Yep.
I can maintain no more earned income because of my tax status and my veteran status and all the statuses, right? Remember I told you I play the game right? So there's rules to the game, and I've so
You just game the system.
right. I've gamed the system.
Yeah.
which
And it is a game.
Shouldn't everybody be doing
It's
that?
just a game. Business is a game. Life's a
Total.
game. Like literally, it's a game.
Total a game.
Have fun. See what you can do.
Yeah, see what you can do. Look what I did.
Yeah.
Can you believe that?
How cool.
You know what I bought that kiln with? Government COVID money. I got like $3,000 from the government for COVID, and I was like, cool. So now all my glass is subsidized by the government.
I think I got some money too.
Yeah.
It helps.
Yeah, it does.
That's probably a good point. Take advantage of any programs out there, whether it's through the government, banks, whatever.
Please.
Look at grants, all this stuff. Take advantage of those because that's literally could be possibly almost free money, if not free money.
Yeah, we have a thought process that you shouldn't take advantage of government assistance, but like you pay for it.
Yeah, through taxes.
Your taxes already
Yeah.
pay for it. Just because all the other people aren't taking advantage of it and you are, who cares?
Yeah.
For example, right now, big business. Walmart is teaching their employees how to apply for government assistance. Okay, so Walmart has like 1.5 million employees or something. So that they average work of 30 hours a week, then giving everybody a $1 raise is 30 million.
They'll pay a lot in taxes, even
30 million a week.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's just to them. But then they got all that in taxes too, right? Because we basically taken double. That's what my quick estimate is. Whatever they make, double it. I don't know if that's right. It gets me in the ballpark.
Yeah,
right. Like
that's what you've learned from retail.
Yeah,
that's like
You flip it. Yeah.
Trent, thanks for coming on the podcast. In your shop, letting us do this in your shop.
Yeah, no
Appreciate
problem,
it.
man. Always.
I think we barely scratched the surface of some of the stuff we got talking about, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe we could do a podcast together.
You and I should just sit and
just record our talkings.
Yeah. They would be crazy.
Call it Tesla Talks. We just record it in the Tesla when we're driving.
Raleigh.
Yeah, we're going to drive.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect. That's actually a good idea. We might have some more content for you.
A podcast is born.
Hey guys, thanks for checking out this episode. If you wouldn't mind, please support the channel. I'm supposed to say all the things, share, like, subscribe. You know what to do.
Do it.
Please.
Tell your friends. If you guys have any needs, questions, wants, whatever, we don't sell weed, but everything else we've got you on here at the Laughing Dragon, 211 East Washington Street in Marshfield. We have custom-made hand-blown glass by multiple local artists. We help you get legal. We have amazing hemp-derived products. And, guess what? It's time to get back on the torch. Guys, I got to get back on the torch and make more pendants, pipes, marbles, and doodads for y'all. So,
Peace.
Peace.